All right, thank you, Dustin. All right, thank you, Commission, for connecting with us via WebEx on these unprecedented times. We've done this once or twice before, and you guys are getting pretty good at this. So hopefully we'll be able to see each other again here in person. But until then, this is the regular scheduled meeting of the Athletic Commission. We're going to go ahead and call things to order. Let me take a roll call then. Matt Reddish. Christy Halbert.
I'm here.
Patrick Wren.
Here.
And Dan McGrew.
Here.
All right, thank you. We do have a quorum. The notice of meeting reads as follows. Notice of September 21, 2020 meeting of the Athletic Commission was posted to the website on September 11th, 2020. We'll have to go ahead and read the statement of necessity as we would with all remote meetings, and then vote on every action item with a roll call vote. So let me go ahead and read that statement of necessity into the record. All right, it reads as follows. According to TCA 844-108B2, if a physical quorum is not present at the location of meeting of a governing body, the governing body must file such determination of necessity, including the recitation of the facts and circumstances on which it was based, with the Office of Secretary of State no later than 2 working days after the meeting. Furthermore, TCA 844-108A3 defines necessity as matters to be considered by the governing body at the meeting require timely action by the body that physical presence by a quorum of the members is not practical within the period of time requiring action, and that participation by a quorum of the members by electronic or other means of communication is necessary. This is the regular scheduled meeting for the Tennessee Athletic Commission. The purpose of today's meeting with the members attending by WebEx is to discuss the agenda as noticed on the website earlier. If that would be fine with the commission, that statement, we'll send that on up to the Secretary of State's office as required within 2 working days. Do we have a motion to accept that statement?
I'll make a motion to accept the statement.
I'll second it.
All right, thank you. We got a motion from Dan McGrew, and we have a second from Christy Halbert for roll call vote. Christy Halbert.
Aye.
Patrick Wren.
Aye.
Dan McGrew.
Aye.
All right, great. We'll get that filed then. For the agenda, any comments or any additions or edits for the agenda? Okay, we'll entertain a motion then to accept the agenda as written. Do we have such a motion?
I make a motion.
All right.
I'll second
Thank you,
it.
Ms. Wren. We got a motion from Patrick Wren, and we have a second from Christy Halbert for a roll call vote. Christy Halbert.
Aye.
Patrick Wren.
Aye.
Dan McGrew.
Aye.
All right, great. That is the agenda then. We'll follow that accordingly. For the June minutes, I'll give you a chance to get those up on your screen and back in front of you. Of course, you received all these items prior. Any comments, edits, questions? Okay, we'll entertain a motion then to accept the June minutes as written. Do we have such a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes.
All right, thank you, sir. We got a motion from Dan McGrew. Do we have a second?
I second.
All right, thank you, Patrick Wren. We got a second from Patrick Wren for roll call vote. Christy Halbert.
Aye.
Patrick Wren.
Aye.
Dan McGrew.
Aye.
All right, thank you. The June minutes have passed. We'll get those published and placed on the website here shortly. For the budget's just informational purposes, nothing for us to vote on there, but we'll, of course, go over that. And then at the end of that, if you have any questions, I'll be happy to entertain those. At our last meeting in June, we covered the trend analysis month to month through March. So we'll primarily be looking at the last 3 months of record, April through June. So that last quarter is primarily what we'll be looking at. Just as a quick matter of recap, March's other expense is due to administrative cost backs, quarterly reallocation, primarily due to customer service, personnel assistance, and handling of the IBF event in February. As you know, we had the large boxing event where Caleb Plant defended his title there, and we picked up some customer service personnel assistance in that regard. So it's a little bit of extra expense there for March. After the initial COVID shutdowns, we did have some events again pick back up. in June, hence the inspections cost there. For a while there, no inspections cost because there's no events. Under the last column, also, you'll notice that there were technology charges reallocated due to IT tickets worked specifically for TAC earlier in the year that were never charged accordingly. But nothing otherwise looked outside the ordinary to me, but I'm happy to address anything that you may have. The takeaway from this is that we did end up another year in surplus. As you know, our margins are very, very narrow. We spend a lot of money in inspections and don't really bring in a lot of money in revenue. Licensing doesn't really cover our inspections costs, so we need those big events to really get us over the line. We've been fortunate enough to have two in the last few years. Of course, the IBF event this past February and the UFC event the year prior. So far so good. We're moving in the right direction. That's what we want to see. I think we've had at least 2, maybe 3 years now in surplus, and so that's a good feeling. That's I'd like to see more room there, but all things considered and given where we've been historically in the past, this is a good place to be. Is there any questions or comments about anything that you saw in the budget? Okay, great. Well, that'll makes a nice segue into our next portion, which is the sunset hearing update. And then we'll cover a couple other updates while we're there. The commission did go before the Joint Government Ops Committee for sunset hearing this past month on 25th of August. And with all that we were due this year, and then they always have the option to sunset that or extend it or put it on sort of monitoring. And we're happy to report that they did extend us for 4 years. So they didn't seem to have any problems with our reporting and where we're going. Of course, we updated them that we'll soon be adopting unified rules, and we've been busy last couple years. So we were proud to report that to the government operations committees there, and we're extended. So that was the end result we were looking for. We won't have to go before them for at least another 4 years. Also, just a couple other sort of updates while we're here in the director's portion. Nothing for us to vote on, but just want to put on the commission's radar as by way of reminder. The MMA registry results reporting fees that were mandated by the ABC Commission a little over a year ago, nearly 2 years ago, were effective this year. Anytime promoters have an event and they have to, of course, report that on MMA Reg website or on BoxRec if they're, of course, a boxing event. ABC Commission voted I think maybe 2 years ago, to pass on the expense of the MMA reporting side to the promoters. That info was forwarded to the promoters well over a year ago when first announced by ABC, but I'll be sending out more information by way of reminder here shortly to ensure no disruption in service in regards to that, to make sure that there's any delinquencies may be addressed. But that was one item. And then the other item were the COVID restrictions. As you know, we're all operating in sort of a different environment, hence the reason why we're now on WebEx, at least have been for the last couple of meetings. Previously under these COVID restrictions, amateur events, except in the 6 counties, were under Executive Order 38. Now those 6 counties, which have their own health departments, are excluded from the executive order. So anything that comes out of the governor's office, those 6 counties are free to manage their counties in any manner that they see fit based on the recommendations of their health departments. Those 6 counties are Madison, Shelby, Davidson, Hamilton, Knox, and Sullivan. So amateur events have been prohibited under Executive Order 38 for a few months now, outside of those 6 counties. So the other counties that remain under our jurisdiction, amateur events have been prohibited. Executive Order 59 did extend that prohibition through the end of this month. I believe that is why you are currently seeing most of our pro-ams being held in East Tennessee. It is possible that the amateur prohibition will expire after Executive Order 59 expires into this month, but we can't say for certain, obviously. We don't have that direct link to the governor's office. They announced that based on the data, and they're always reevaluating the climate, and then that rolls down to us for enforcement. So we're just going to have to continue to watch that, but I just want to kind of put that on your radar as well Do you folks have any questions in regards to that or any statements?
No.
Dan, Christy, did you guys have any comments or statements in regards to that?
No, I don't.
Glenn,
Okay.
could you just kind of clarify in your opinion, looking at Executive Order 3859 and then considering what's happening when might amateur boxing resume in Davidson County, for example?
Mhm. Yeah, Davidson County, that's tricky because they are independent, so they don't really communicate with us. We're waiting on them along with other regulatory authorities. Um, you know, and a lot of times a lot of the regulatory authorities are all in-house as well. They're all, they're directly employed by Metro Davidson County. So unfortunately, unless there's a executive order that no longer provides an exemption for the counties and then sort of makes sweeping regulations across the state, then we're beholden to each county. And so really just it's the council themselves and the mayor. Unfortunately, we have no influence in that regard. So we're really beholden to them until they start opening up venues. Entertainment venues is where that would fall. If we start seeing them ease the restrictions there, then of course that would trickle down and apply to amateur events as well, unless otherwise stated specifically excluded.
Okay, and then a county that is 6, amateur boxing is currently, if I understand it correctly, amateur boxing would be permitted at least this month. Is that correct?
Yeah, but amateur boxing is it's specifically excluded till the end of this month. So we're really waiting in the next probably within this week or so to see if that get extended. If that executive order expires, then we're no longer under the those restrictions. Then of course amateur boxing will be permitted again, and then our doors will be back open. Except for those 6 counties, Davidson County being one of those. They're still, regardless of what happens with the executive orders, those 6 counties are running independently and can they're under the restrictions or the recommendations of their public health officials only.
Got it. Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. All right. Any other comments or questions? Okay. All right. Well, let's moving along then. Looks like we are ready for the legal portion of our agenda. Let me look at, we don't have a legal report, but we do have a rule revisions red line that we'd like to sort of just kind of unpack a little bit. If you recall, the unified rules package was already approved at the last meeting. We would like to add the failure to appear section to that package that's on page 2, and the gender neutral language throughout, and have those travel together, which means a public rulemaking hearing at our next board meeting on December the 14th. One thing I will mention, Mr. McGrew, we talked about hand wraps, if you recall at the last meeting. We did
Yes.
notice, yes, sir. We noticed that the hand wraps were only mentioned once in the title and unified rules, but then bandages were referenced everywhere else and subsequent. So if we were to apply hand wraps through the rest of it outside of the unified rules, we would have somewhat of a disjointed rules package because some would be talking about hand wraps, some would be talking about bandages. So we didn't add the hand wraps on this one because it's already being listed in the title. So the bandages sort of subsume that that it's speaking and pointing to the hand wraps.
Okay, I understand.
But we did look at that and give that, of course, ample consideration. But all that we had left in is the gender neutral language throughout, and of course that failure to appear section. And then Pam is online to answer any questions you may have in regards to that. I will just read what's being added in that section. It's paragraph 6 under combatants generally under rule 0145-01-.08. Paragraph 6 states combatants failing to appear for the weigh-in any pre-fight meetings, the contest or bout shall be subject to discipline, which may include civil penalties or suspension at the discretion of the commission. Do you have any questions or comments about that?
And everyone, this is Pam. I just wanted to say hi to everyone first, and let you know I'm participating by phone because I'm having some technical difficulties today. And I know Glenn gave a great summary, and as you all know, you already voted on the rules packet with the exception of the gender neutral terms and then this paragraph that Glenn just read to you. I do want to also let you know, and you all are probably aware, that other states have similar failure to appear language in their rules. Glenn and I looked at other states that surround or touch us and found that a lot of the states have similar language.
This looks good. Thank you for your work on this, Pam.
Oh, no worries, no worries. I'm happy to do it. Happy to help any way I can. And like I said, or like Glenn said, these rules will move through the process. I will tell you on the front end, it might be a little bit of a long shot to get these on for the December meeting, just because they have to travel through several methods of approval process, including the Attorney General's office. So I will calendar it. I will, keep checking on them as they go through the process after you all vote to approve these, and do my best to get them on. But there's several deadlines that have to be met in order for that to happen. If for some reason they are not able to go forward on the December meeting, it will happen at the first meeting in 2021.
Okay. Thank you, Pam. I appreciate those comments and sort of the time right there. Okay, well, that's all we had as far as legal portion. We did feel like that was important to add to Pam's comments, primarily to strengthen our standing along with the other states around us, because that was one gap that our rules just didn't speak to, and so that puts us kind of back in the pack, back in that industry standard. So, and then gives us some discretion to deal with those issues as they arise, whereas before we didn't really have any standing up to this point. So that's going to clearly articulate that. Okay, well,
And we
great.
do need a motion and a vote again.
Yes. So if we have a motion to accept the rules as written and printed, do we have such a motion in that regard?
I'll make a motion to accept the rules as they are printed.
All right,
And I'll
thank you,
second
sir.
it.
All right, we got a motion from Dan McGrew. We have a second from Christy Halbert for a roll call vote. Christy Halbert. Patrick Wren.
Aye.
And then Dan McGrew.
Aye.
All right, thank you. We'll get those going, and of course, we'll give you an update. We'll either have a rulemaking hearing at our next meeting, or we'll give you an update about to where those are in the process in the pipeline. All right, thank you. Do we have?
I will
Okay.
keep everyone updated as they move along the process.
Thank you, Pam.
And I just,
all right.
to clarify, I did not want to have, even though you had voted on the rules I submitted in June, I did not want to travel with two packets, both under the Athletic Commission. I wanted to go ahead and do it as one packet.
Yeah, that makes sense. It can be kind of disjointed. They don't know which package you're talking about when we're having to go before the committee. So thank you, Pam, for doing that.
Yes. And that is their preference, if you have rules, to try to get it all in one packet.
Great. All right. Well, I think we're ready then for the new business. Does anyone have any comments or questions or anything that they'd like to discuss under new business? All right. I'll take the silence as an indication that we're ready for adjournment. Do we have a motion for adjournment?
I'll make that motion to adjourn.
Thank you. Thank you, Christy. Halbert, do we have a second?
I second.
All right. Thank you, Mr. McGrew. We got a motion from Christy Halbert and a second from Dan McGrew for roll call vote. Christy Halbert,
Aye.
Patrick Wren,
Aye.
Dan McGrew.
Aye.
All right. Thank you. Very efficient. Accomplished quite a bit in a short period of time. Thank you all so very much for your attention and for your preparatory work in advance too. We thank you. We'll look forward to seeing you next time.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.